This video is for all breastfeeding moms who are struggling with a low milk supply, and by the end of this video you're gonna learn how to master direct breastfeeding as well as pumping, and without the pumping pain, without the low supply issues that a lot of you have been struggling with. Over the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been speaking to breastfeeding moms who are struggling with breastfeeding, and the response has been overwhelming. And that is why I have taken a lot of time and effort to research in this particular topic so that I can come up with solutions that can actually help you. I've gone through over 20 research studies that have been scientifically documented and done, and I have come with a really amazing solution for you so that you can be able to master direct breastfeeding and pumping as well, and beat low milk supply. So my name is Nasteri, and I've also been a mom, but honestly speaking, I've never struggled with a low milk supply. And as I was going through the research studies, I found out that I was unconsciously doing what was the right thing without even knowing. And that is why I want to share with you these techniques, the direct breastfeeding techniques, as well as the correct or the effective pumping techniques that actually can help you deal with low milk supply once and for all. So allow me to hop onto my computer so that I can show you the presentation. And as I do that, I want you to just take a second, subscribe to this channel so that you don't have to miss any of such content. The title of this presentation is pumping, hurting your milk supply, and this is with a reason. This is because a lot of moms, as I have found from my in-depth research, is that how you're pumping is actually hurting your milk supply, and you're gonna see why. So if you're struggling also with if you're struggling to balance breastfeeding and pumping, this is gonna benefit you a great deal. And what if you could master both, like breastfeeding and pumping, without pain or low supply? I know this is something that you really want, and that is what I'm gonna show you by the end of this presentation. Let us go to the next slide. So what are some of the reasons why moms lose supply? So according to the researches, the 20 research papers that I went through, I found out that 70% of moms use the wrong flange size. Flange size of your pump can actually cause a low output. Like if the flange size is wrong, you're gonna also experience pain and you're gonna have a low output. And as you can see, this is one of the research studies that proved that, and there are so many others that proved all of these things that I'm sharing with you. I'm not sharing them from my head or from what I learned from the nursing school, because this has been researched all over again. And then exclusive pumping, inadequate emptying of your breast, latching problems, stress levels, like high stress levels, in absence of direct stimulation, have been showed to cause a low milk supply. So one of the reasons that could be causing your low supply could be one of these. And there's another point here that I left, that is your hormonal like your hormonal balance. Like how well are your hormones balanced? For example, if you also have issues such as PCOS, if you also have issues like thyroid issues, all of those are going to contribute to you having a low supply. So those are some of the reasons why moms lose supply, especially normal healthy mothers who don't have any other underlying problems. And most moms are not failing, they are just taught outdated and that one size fits all kind of advice. I know there's a lot of conflicting advice even from the hospital, from your healthcare provider. Like if your healthcare provider gives you half of the information, then you're not gonna benefit from this. So it's not that you're failing, not really, but the information maybe that you have, it could be outdated, or the one size fits all kind of advice, and we're gonna correct that. So what are some of the problems with pumping? So some of the studies that I did indicated that exclusive pumping, and by exclusive pumping I mean whereby you're just pumping and not direct breastfeeding your baby. So for example, if you're at work most of the time, so you're just pumping throughout and you're not directly breastfeeding your baby. So that one is linked with shorter lactation duration, for example, because the output is gonna be so low. So the lactation duration, or how long you're gonna breastfeed or give the expressed breast milk, is gonna be so short, and it's also associated with a low milk volume. So note that, kindly note that. And then mechanical pumping often lacks the full hormonal stimulation that comes with your baby's natural suckling. So there's a lot of issues that I uncovered with the pumps, with the breast pumps. For example, if you're using a manual pump, if you're using the wearables, if you're not using the hospital grade pumps, then you're gonna suffer from lack of stimulation of the hormones responsible um, for for milk production and letdown. This is because these pumps, I'm not saying they are bad, but how you are taught to use them. If you're not taught how to use the regular pump well, then you're gonna struggle with this. This is because if the pump that you're using is not directly mimicking the suckling reflex of your baby, like the way a baby suckles on your breast, if it is not mimicking that, then the hormones responsible for milk production are not going to be stimulated, and that is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem, and that is why you need to learn the effective pumping techniques, and I'm gonna show you how. And then stress and frustration from monitoring pumped volumes further reduce supply. This is because I have seen a lot of moms tell me, I'm only expressing this amount of milk in a day and it's really stressing me. So when you compare, for example, if I compare myself to you, to how much you're pumping, then definitely that is gonna cause a lot of stress and frustration, from those monitored pumped volumes, and this can actually reduce supply more. So there's something that I've mentioned, but I want to say it once again. This is milk production is driven by hormonal signals, especially the oxytocin and the prolactin hormone. And there's a particular type of the day when the prolactin levels peaks. Prolactin is the hormone responsible for production of breast milk. Oxytocin is the hormone responsible for milk letdown, like the milk has been produced, so there's that another hormone that is responsible for making that milk to be ejected. So some people have a very low letdown, so the problem is with the oxytocin. Some people have a very low supply, that is, they are not making enough breast milk, so the problem is the prolactin hormone. So I'm gonna teach you, I'm gonna show you how you're gonna solve this. So these two hormones are best activated by direct suckling or by complete emptying and mimicking the sucking reflex. So if you're pumping and you're not completely emptying your breasts, and that pump that you're using is not mimicking the sucking or the suckling reflex, like the one the baby does on your breast when they're sucking, then definitely your milk output is gonna be low. Your milk output is gonna be low. Kindly note that. Next slide. So problems with your pump that could be causing the low supply. So these are some of the problems that could be these are some of the problems with your pump that could be causing low supply. The manual pumps. The problem with manual pumps is the inadequate emptying. And if there's inadequate emptying of your breast, then definitely your body thinks that there is no demand, like this person is not getting out all the milk, so why should I make more? So that is how you place your body. You put your body in that position of not thinking that more milk is needed. Manual pumps don't remove all the breast milk. Wearables, there's a problem with the wearables. I'm not saying wearables are bad, but you need to learn how to use them if you're gonna see the full benefit of using wearables and not struggle with a low milk volume. Wearables, the problem with wearables is that they were designed such that when you wear them, you can be able to do other things. But there's a problem, there's a catch. When you are absent-minded, you're doing other things, then your mind is not connected to the breastfeeding process. And breastfeeding loves calm and relaxation. These two hormones, oxytocin is also called the love hormone. That is why it is often are triggered or stimulated when you bond with your baby. You know, when you look at your baby, when the baby is breastfeeding, this hormone is released in large volumes. Or when you just smell your baby's clothes, the scent, or when you just look at your baby's photo or you hear them cry, this hormone, the oxytocin, is released in large volumes, in large quantities, and that is what actually helps to bring down or to eject or let down more milk. So wearables, you're gonna be absent-minded. There is no stimulation of these two hormones. Wrong flange sizes, this is gonna cause you so much pain, nipple damage, and all of those things, and that is gonna cause you also to suffer from low milk output, low milk volumes, and all of those issues. Poor settings, if you're not setting your breast pump correctly, then definitely don't expect much. And the only thing that I can mention about poor setting, more power does not mean more milk output. Not really. If you set your motor to be like the setting is up there, like more power, that does not mean that all of the milk is gonna be more. Not really. The secret here is comfort. Comfort is the key word. And then inconsistent pumping. How many times are you pumping in a day? There's a specific number of times that you ought to be pumping if you want to see an increase in breast milk supply. So those are the problems with your pump that could be causing your low supply. So there in the comment section, can you tell me, what do you think about these problems that I've just mentioned? Do you think it is true, or do you think the research is why not right? So there are two solutions to these problems. Just two. There are not so many. Number one, direct breastfeeding triggered 2 times more oxytocin than pumping. That is a fact. And why so? It is because of the bonding, the direct bonding. You're there with your baby, you're communicating, the signals, the smiles, all of that. It's because of the bonding. So, and that suckling reflex that I talked about, because of that, more oxytocin is gonna be triggered, and that's just how it is. So when pumping, if you're going to go pumping, because I understand we are career women, I cannot tell you to just sit at home the whole day and just practice direct breastfeeding, in as much as it is the best way to trigger more milk supply, especially if you learn the correct techniques of direct breastfeeding, as I'm gonna be showing you. So when you're pumping, because I know you may need to pump, maybe because of duty calls, your career calls, you need to handle other things outside of your home, but you still want to continue breastfeeding and you don't want to suffer from a low supply. So when you're pumping, you need to consider these things. You have to stimulate, or you have to mimic that stimulation that is similar to a baby suckling, and you also have to ensure complete emptying of the breast. So those two things when you're pumping are key if you want to see an increase in breast milk supply. As I said, most moms are not failing, you just don't know the effective techniques, and I would really like you to practice this direct breastfeeding, and when you're pumping, making sure that the stimulation is similar to for a baby suckling, so that the two hormones, prolactin and oxytocin, are triggered just the same way as when you are doing the direct breastfeeding. And then make sure that you are completely emptying the breast, because most times when you pump, especially if you pump for very few minutes, you are not able to completely empty the breast. That is just how it is. So those are the two solutions. So what are some of the consequences of having a low milk supply? So what you risk is early weaning or increased dependence on formula. I've seen a lot of moms introducing formula to babies because they say, and it is a valid reason, the milk supply is low, the baby is not getting full. Early weaning, some moms wean their babies too early, and you know that there are some dangers when you wean your baby too early. Their digestive system is not capable of handling solid foods very early on, and there's also, when you introduce the formula unnecessarily, also the formula, there are problems with the formula. The formula can never be the same as the human milk. No, the protein levels in the formula and the human milk, they are so different, and how they are digested is also very different. The human milk, it is so gentle on your baby as compared to the formula. So breastfeeding is always the best option. So there is the risk of early weaning or increased dependence on formula, where you find that you have given up literally, and you're just giving your baby formula. And then there is a reduced benefits for both mother and baby from optimal breast milk, because we know there are so many benefits in the breast milk as compared to formula. For example, when you breastfeed, I'm just gonna give you one really good example. Human milk contains antibodies that are gonna help the baby improve the immunity. Formula does not. Human milk is easy to digest. Formula is not, because it is made either from cow's milk. That one, the protein in there, the casein, is very difficult for a baby to digest. The goat's milk, that one is much better, but it is still not as good as the human milk. So those are just two, but there are so many. So also, you as a mom, you're gonna feel like you're not doing your best for your baby, and I know that is so frustrating and stressful. I know that. So maintaining an abundant milk supply is essential for your baby's health and your overall breastfeeding success. So what do you need to do? So there's something before I tell you the next step. So your body is designed to make milk. If you are a woman, you were born a biological woman, your body is designed to make milk, because well, God created us as so. And I want to show you how to work with your body and not against it. And this is how. So how do you improve the supply? How do you master both direct breastfeeding and pumping without pain or low supply? So direct breastfeeding techniques to boost more oxytocin and prolactin hormones and to increase milk production. So it is number one, by improving or practicing direct breastfeeding techniques, that is gonna boost oxytocin and prolactin. And then number two is by pumping or pro-pumping techniques, that is, choose the correct flange size, learn how to pick your breast pump, because not all breast pumps are good. I've showed you how some breast pumps are not able to mimic that suckling reflex. A lot of breast pumps out there are not able to completely empty your breasts, and that is a fact that directly causes your milk output to be really low. Also, when you're pumping, make sure that you're mimicking the suckling reflex, as in breastfeeding, as in direct breastfeeding, and make sure that you're completely emptying the breast. If you use this plan that I'm just about to show you, you're gonna get results in 72 hours, guaranteed. This is because I've researched this and it works. So I want to help breastfeeding moms like you overcome painful pumping and low milk supply by teaching you how to master both direct breastfeeding and effective pumping techniques so that you enjoy an abundant natural milk flow and a stress-free breastfeeding experience for your baby. In the comment section, tell me, would you like this? Just type yes or no in the comment section. Would you want to master these two and get these benefits that I've told you? And you're gonna see increase in 72 hours after you implement these techniques that I'm showing you. So this is it. So this is what I'm offering you right now. Are you gonna take it? Are you gonna take this offer? Type there in the comment section. So I have created, I just thought, how best can I have a lot of you and give you this? So that is why I created this. It's a digital guide, and you can read and read yourself. It's a step-by-step guide, and I've showed you everything. It is a step-by-step process, and I show you how to overcome painful pumping and low milk supply by teaching you effective direct breastfeeding techniques and a pumping pro technique that actually works, and that is science backed from all those research studies that I've actually spent so much time doing. So this is not just some babbling, this is not something just from one textbook. It is something that a lot of people have put in time and energy and gone out there in the field to collect data and observe and interview and came up with all of these solutions that I'm offering you right now. So take this step-by-step guide. It's going to show you how to do all of that. And if you want to go further, we have a live class whereby you can come in there. We interact on a one-on-one basis. You ask a question as you implement these strategies that we are talking about. So, but for now, the link to this guide, the link to getting this guide is in the comment section. It is pinned in the comment section and also in the video description. So I want you to get it so that these problems of low milk supply, pumping problems may end in the next 72 hours, guaranteed. And if it doesn't, then we also have a 30-day money back guarantee, so there's actually no risk involved. If you'd like to reach me, for example, if you want the live one-on-one class, email me at that email address right here. This one, I'm gonna give you the link to sign up for our live group. It's a live group class so that you can improve, so that you can also connect with other moms, the benefits of a community. But the link to this guide that I want you to get right now is in the pinned comment section, and also in the video description. So that is it, guys. I hope this tutorial has helped you understand why you are struggling with a low supply and given you a step-by-step process on how you can actually improve this